A typical bank account does not use simple interest, and that's actually good for you. Simple interest is not the best way to calculate interest because it gives you the least amount of interest possible. But typically what a bank does is they give you your interest, and assuming you leave it there, then the next time they award you interest, it's based on the total amount in your account, including any previous interest, and that process continues. This type of interest is known as compound interest. And so let's take a quick look at how that's going to work. So let's say we put $10,000 in a bank account earning 3% interest compounded monthly. So we're going to start with that $10,000. Okay, and then that interest earned is going to be calculated using our PRT formula, at least for right now. So that's the $10,000 times the interest rate of 3% times, and this is just 1 month, so that's 1/12 of a year. So you will have earned $25 interest in your account, and at the end of the month, you will have $10,025. At the start of month 2, now you have $10,025. So when they calculate your interest, now they're going to take that $10,025 at 3% interest, again, for 1/12 of a year, because 1 more month has passed. And this month, you'll have earned $25.06 in interest. So you made just a little bit more. And when you add that on to what you had from the previous month, now you have $10,050.06 in your bank account. And this process, again, continues ad nauseum. So I'm going to let you go ahead and pause the video, fill stuff in, and then in just a second, restart it, come back, and I'll have caught up with you. Okay, so hopefully your numbers end up matching mine. Do notice that every month the amount of interest being earned increases by just a little bit. And I know right now it looks like there's a pattern of like 6 to 7 cents, but over time, as your bank account grows, that amount of interest will continue to grow just a little bit too. Now, the whole thing about this compound interest is clearly we don't want to use a table like this if we want to say like, hey, how much would be in my account if I left my money sit there for 10 years? That would be 120 months, and that's way too long to have a table. So there is a formula for compound interest, and it is as follows. A equals P times the quantity 1 plus R over N raised to the N times T power. Now, most of these variables mean the same thing as they do in simple interest. A is the total amount in the account, which does include your interest. P is the principal, the amount that was you started with. R is your interest rate, again in decimal form, and T is time in years. Our new variable N is the number of times interest is compounded within a single year. Now, there are some terms that you will see that describe compounding. So if it's compounded annually, that means 1 time per year. If semi-annually, that means twice a year. Quarterly is 4 times a year. Monthly would be 12 times a year. And in the event you run into something that's daily, that's 365 times a year. You will use the compound interest formula when you put money into an account once and you let it sit there earning interest. That is definitely worth pointing out. Okay, because again, the question's going to rise, especially as we move on. How do I know when to use this formula? Well, this is when you use this formula. Now, this is not a formula you have to memorize. Okay, I will provide you with a formula sheet that has this formula written down on it, but I do not tell you what the variables mean, and I do not tell you when it is you should use it. It simply says compound interest, and that it has that formula as listed. In the next video, we'll go ahead and use this formula and put it into practice.